Oh, oh, they're super blurry, super duper. Hey, welcome everybody. Go ahead, Jessica.
Hey, I'm Jessica with Reed and Associates, Trent's co-host here for Forward Friday, and we have a question of the evening, and I really wanted to ask Casey this question, so we're going to ask it fast. She's going to answer fast because she has got to move on. Remember, Fourth Friday starts at 5 o'clock, and then we go live sometime thereafter. So, Casey.
Yes.
When did you know it was time to start your fitness business and not just work for somebody else and work for yourself?
So I've been doing networking for a chiropractor for a while, and when he downsized, that was on a Tuesday. Wednesday morning, I was back at networking, toting my business just as a Band-Aid fix until I found something else full-time, and everybody gave me such positive feedback and said, no, this is what you need to be doing, and you need to ignore all the other things and just focus on this. And I was like, okay, God's telling me this is what I need to do. So that was pretty much it. It was, all in from there on.
So it's important who you hang around and the kind of people that you surround yourself with?
Yes, very much so. If it isn't for the awesome people in this room, I would not be doing I would not be as successful or in as best mental headspace running my own business as I am.
I know you got to go fast, but what's your favorite networking groups that you go to? Like, where do you get the best inspiration, the best people around you, the most encouragement?
Wednesday's networking for awesome people. The Smarter group's not there yet on Monday. So the Wednesday 9 a.m. at Achieve is by far like the most exposure. Other than that, it's the Tennessee Women's Connect group, because most of my clients are women, and so that's kind of my niche. And so talking to those ladies a couple of times a month is usually good, and they're all over, but I usually stick to the Murfreesboro group. I need to branch out, but I haven't done that yet.
Oh, well,
So
it's nice to stay close to home, too.
it's nice to stay close to home. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, I've been waiting since I knew that you were coming. I have been waiting to ask you that question because,
Yes.
one, I wanted to know the answer, but two, I knew it would be a really good and encouraging answer for somebody that's trying to figure out if it's time to go out on their own for something.
Ask people. I have known so many personal trainers that have gone out on their own and fallen flat on their face. So many.
That's got to be scary.
And I think which is why I had never done it before. I think the difference was all the networking and the people that I surrounded myself with, Pat and Katie, that just pour into me, and you, and even Travis, even though he's newer to it all, that just pour into me and, give me exposure and tag me when people are asking for personal trainers on Facebook, and just the confidence you guys instill in me just helps me go, yeah, I can do this, and why I think I've been so successful.
Can I add something here? Mm-hmm. I think a big part of it, Casey, is your integrity as a trainer. I have been around trainers for many years, and you are the first one that I would absolutely trust because you do what you say you're going to do. Mm-hmm. And to me, integrity is everything, and you follow through on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love my clients. I love my people. I love who I surround myself with. And if it wasn't for that group, most of which are here today, and Amanda Howell, who's not here today.
She's here.
Oh, she is.
She's slipped
here.
in.
She's behind the scenes
She's
right now.
hiding. She hasn't made it in the room yet.
Yeah.
So, and I want to add something too. You mentioned falling flat on your face with business, right? And I think that can go along the lines with anybody trying to start a business. If you don't have the right people around you, I talk about my success is not my own. It's not because of me. It's because of the people I have around me and that I lean on every day to support me. I go out and do the work, but the work wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the people around me.
And those people speak truth, and they may tell you things that you have to do your own research and figure out if that's a direction you want to go, or if you feel like for yourself it's better to do something else or charge differently or come at something a different way. But it's taking what they're telling you from different avenues and different life experiences, and oh, could that work? Is that the direction I want to go? What's God telling me? What am I feeling? Where do I need to go, and what do I need to do? So it just helps give you more ideas. As the squeaker goes off.
That was you've got 11 minutes.
All right, and I have got to go.
Well, thanks for staying long enough to answer our
yeah.
question. That was a really good word. And since Travis decided to chime in, Travis recently went full time, right, in
Yes,
your
ma'am.
own
Yes.
gig. So, how did you know that it was time to do that? Tell us a little bit about where you came from and how that happened and how you knew.
Yeah, I mean, everything kind of fell into place for me. So I was in the auto glass industry for a couple of years. A couple of years ago, ended up meeting a gentleman that had been doing only repairs, for a while, and we ended up becoming friends. And then he and I talked a lot about kind of me running my own business, starting his business, supporting him, and working for myself, but with him. He always told me, I'm just not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. Well, the impatient me decided to try to force it. So 2 or 3 years ago, I tried starting this business that I'm running now. And like Casey said, I fell flat on my face. I knew networking was important, but I didn't know where to go, how to do it. I mean, I tried to do it by myself. And within a month, I was begging people for a job because I didn't have what it took to put food on my table anymore. So I ended up taking a part-time job, and it kind of turned into a full-time thing. And then my repair kit sat in the garage for a year or 2 years collecting dust.
Wow.
So fast forward to February of this year, February 2025. Early February, I called. His name's Brad with Glass Monkey. I don't mind saying that. And I asked him if he'd buy my kit because I needed the money to get through the next couple of months. And he flat out told me no. He just said no. Yeah. And I'm like, dang, like, okay. So I asked him if he wanted any pieces, like if he wanted any part of it. And there again, he said no. He said, why don't we catch up and have lunch? He said, let's schedule a lunch. So we did 2 weeks later. So February 21st-ish. Without looking at my calendar, I can't give you an exact date, but
We'll let you slide on that one.
yeah.
I mean, typically we'd like to know the time too.
yeah, right. I think it was at 12. I think it was at 12. Anyway,
Central
so
time?
Central Time, yes, ma'am. Eastern edge of Central Time. So, but anyway, we. I'm glad you guys are we are all having a great time right now.
We're laughing with you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
smiling and
Right.
laughing.
Fourth Friday, right?
It
Yeah.
is.
There
Yeah.
you go.
So anyway, we were having lunch together, just talking, catching up. How's your kids? How's life? How's everything going? And at the end of it, he point blank said, "I need your help." Okay, sure. What do you need help with? He said, "There's nobody in Murfreesboro that I can refer my customers to when I can't get to them in time that I know will do a good job, will respect them, treat them well, all the things, all the positive things." And I said, okay. I said, I'll get my kit back out and brush up on my skills and all that stuff. And I said, how many do you think gonna need help with? And he said, how many do you need to quit your job?
Wow.
Yep. And I told him, and he laughed at me. Like, wait, what?
Because you had way more than that?
No, because he was expecting me to say more.
Oh.
So that week I jumped in, quit my job. In fact, before we left the parking lot, he had already texted me a referral to go do.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So it was immediate.
Wow.
And let me tell you, he has done everything he said he was going to do. He's always available to me. If he doesn't answer, he calls me right back. If I take pictures of chips and I'm not sure how to handle it, or there's a technique that I'm not sure about, he will send text messages until he is satisfied with his explanation, or he'll call me, say, hey, I can't text this, I need to tell you.
Wow.
And so he'll walk me through the whole process. And Miss Beautiful Katie over here helped me with some graphs that I can manage. And right now he's at about 65% of my business is from Glass Monkey.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yep.
I love
So
that you have that stat right at the
Yeah.
ready too.
Yeah,
I know.
you did.
And
I
you-
mean, that's,
Data.
and you just happen to be
That's
here.
awesome.
Yeah. So shout out Katie if you need any tools to track your monthly, yearly, whatever it is, give Katie a call. She'll hook you up with that.
that's cool. So you do cracks and chips, or
I do, chips typically about the size of a quarter, maybe a little bit bigger. And then 2 weeks ago, I did a long crack repair, and it was about 20 inches long.
Wow.
And he was my first. When I did that, it was my first long crack repair, and it was my first repeat customer. So he
Wow.
kind of checked off a couple boxes for me.
That's cool.
So, yeah, it
So
was
this
awesome.
you've been doing this for 2 months now.
This is so I don't count February because it was the last week when I started.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
So this March has been my first full month, and through the support of the community, I have, in fact, Miss Pat and I were talking yesterday, and I made a comment, and I said, maybe I set my monthly goal too low. And she said, no, she's like, no way. And so I've already passed my monthly goal for March.
Wow.
And I can't express the gratitude and everything that I have for not only Miss Pat, and I guess Katie, but everybody else as well. And we pick on Katie a little bit, but.
So what are your favorite? You said networking. What are your favorite networking groups that you go to right now?
Networking for awesome people has been fundamental in my success. I would say probably my second favorite one, and it's usually due to the people that go there. I kind of walk in and feel like all my friends are here, is actually Amanda Howell's new networking group called Murfreesboro in Motion.
Cool.
There again, Amanda kind of checked off a first for me. I sponsored Ron Young and I of Eagle Communications sponsored Murfreesboro in Motion last week.
Cool.
And I believe it was the first time she filled every seat.
Wow.
So that was awesome.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
But there's room for more. It's
There are.
Mondays, 9 a.m. Tank's Party Place.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. We have people walking in outside. So fun. Well, cool. Well, thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That's
You're
awesome. What an man! I think the most exciting thing is going to be to come back 6 months from now and see where you're at
Yeah.
in 6 months. And you and Brad, and we need Brad here too.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to hear his perspective on that. I've always heard really good things about Brad from my dad, and I had to reach out to him one time because we had a windshield issue
Yeah.
he referred to somebody for. So
Yeah, I've mentioned to Brad a couple times that he has been brought up and he needs to swing by.
he does.
But I'll brag on Brad a little bit, and it just goes to show you the level of mentorship that he's able to give me. Auto Glass Week every year they have a chip repair competition, and last year he finished second
Wow.
in the country. So
Wow.
he has been instrumental. I can't thank him enough.
And that's cool. I didn't know there was such a thing.
Yep.
The more you
I'm
know.
not going to get to go this year, but hopefully next year I can go and I'm
When
going
is
to.
it?
It's I believe it's in September in Reno, Nevada.
Is it televised? We should do
I
a watch
mean,
party
now,
together.
I guess like I'm
Ocho?
interested.
Yeah. So I have no idea what to expect from it. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to go, but I'm going to use this 9 months of this year and every month next year to my goal is to give him a run for his money. So,
I think you should. So you're shooting for first place then.
yes, first time, first place is my
man.
goal.
Okay. Well, everybody mark your calendars. We're going to come back in October, either fourth Friday, September next year, depending on when it is, or October of 26, and find out where you placed.
Yep.
Be
Yep.
prepared. Put that in your calendar.
I'm excited.
You have
Yeah,
permission
mark
to
it
get
on
your
your
phone
schedule
out.
now, okay?
Yeah, you gotta mark it on your
I
schedule.
sure will. I sure will.
Mark it on your schedule. All right, Katie, same question, because I know you're dying to like get up out of this seat in here and get out
What?
from in front of
How'd
the
you know?
cameras. So you came from the corporate world, right?
Yes.
And now you do your own business.
That's
so
correct.
how did you know it was time to leave corporate and go solo?
100% God.
I like that answer. Tell me more.
Well, I basically just asked to do something big for the kingdom, and I wanted to use my life, and I wanted it to mean something, and wanted to do something that benefited, that spread God's love like to other people, right? And little did I know God was going to give me this assignment to start my own business and help other people share their gifts with the world through entrepreneurship. And I was like, whoa, that's way bigger than I thought you were going to do. But it's been a faith journey, right? Like, it's intentionally bigger than anything I could do on my own, because otherwise it wouldn't require any faith.
Isn't it always like that?
Yep. And so that was 4 years ago. In 2020, I started my business, and I worked it kind of alongside my full-time job, and I was really hesitant to take the leap. And, you know, I've worked with Miss Pat a bunch, but honestly, I've had to change myself from the inside out a ton in order to be in the spot that I'm at today. But I went full-time in my business about a year ago.
Wow.
Actually, it'll be a year on April Fool's Day.
I
which
love
was
that.
sad.
I love
Last
that.
year on April Fool's Day was fun because I had just left my corporate job, and day one of being a full-time entrepreneur was on April Fool's Day, and it just felt very like right, you know.
You'll never forget that either.
Nope. But it was also the day after Easter, which was also last year very symbolic for me, because it means, you know, it's all about new beginnings, and that was really huge. It was a huge new beginning for me at the time as well. But the good news is that I'm not totally out of my element, in that a lot of the experience that I have from the corporate world comes into play here. And it's like Steve Jobs. He gave this famous speech to, I guess, maybe Yale or Harvard or one of the fancy schools.
Ivy Leagues.
Yeah. Or maybe in California somewhere. Anyways, he talks about a lot about like connecting the dots backwards. And his example was taking calligraphy classes in college, and how that ultimately became a huge part of why Apple has such an emphasis on fonts, or did when they first started with the Macs. And it's just all these little like things that seem random at the time. When you look back, they kind of add up to making sense for what you're doing now. And you can only connect those dots backwards. You never really know when you're in it how
Right.
that dot is going to be used for something later.
Wow.
And so that's kind of how I feel with this. Like, my career path is really random, but all these random things you need to know in order to be an entrepreneur.
That's so true.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Think back to April Fool's last year. I was if you knew exactly what time it was that you announced
And was it
decided.
Central or Eastern?
It was the eastern side of Central Time.
Yeah.
8 a.m.
8 a.m.
on Monday,
8 a.m.
April 1st, 2024. The day after Easter.
I'm glad you remember.
Yep, I'll never forget.
What an incredible story.
Thank you.
Man. Isn't God cool?
Super. And this entire year has been 100%. 100% of my life is different right now than it was April 1st, 2024.
Amen.
Wow.
From relationships, where I live, what I'm doing for work, 100% different. And I'm so thankful, because if God had not been in the middle of all that, like, I probably wouldn't be here, to be honest. At the risk of sounding hyperbolic.
No, I think that's legitimate. I think if we're all honest, I think we all have multiple things in our lives that, if we're being honest, we would say, if without God, I would not be here.
Yeah,
Because it would have gone a totally other way, but God.
100%.
Do you think the storms that he brought you through, do you think those gave you the courage and bravery to make that jump?
Yeah, I think God works with us, like, giving us a little more and a little more and a little more, to sharpen us, develop our character, develop our perseverance, and develop our faith. Because 4 or 5 years ago, Travis, Katie for sure, wouldn't have been able to handle the stuff that's like no big deal for Katie today and Travis today.
Yeah, I fell
Like
flat
a-
on my face. Yeah, see, you're exactly right.
Like a foot long crack.
Yeah.
Would
yeah.
Travis a year ago, you would have, how would you have handled that?
Oh man, I'd have ran. It's already happened.
Yeah.
Just in the month. Like I told one gentleman I couldn't help him, and I talked to him the other day, and he said, "You already told me you can't help me." I said, "Let me look at it again." And I walked out there. I was like, "Dude, I got you. I can
Yeah.
do it."
That's good.
Wow.
And it's just I was honest with him then, and I was honest with him now. I just learned.
That's good.
Man, that you just said a mouthful in a sentence. I mean, I think a lot of times, people let something like that stop them completely. They go, well, I don't know how to do everything. I'm not good enough. I don't have all the skills. I don't have, the whole package yet, so I can't start until I do. And what they miss out on is the opportunity to acquire and gain and hone those skills. And you did that in a month, but you didn't do it in a month by doing one windshield a day, right? You
Right.
did it in a month doing how many windshields would you say you've done this month? In between those times,
Probably 35 or 40.
I mean, that's
And it's too so the corporate world, your corporations, we all know they're greedy, and everything's about the making as much money as possible. So I worked for a replacement company, and what can and cannot be repaired wasn't always necessarily true. So I'm going off information that I learned then, and then now that I'm in the repair only world, the real truth comes out.
oh yeah, that happens in a lot of industries.
So corporations that kind of limit you and limit the scope in what you can operate,
Yeah.
and even if it's not necessarily the truth, they want you to say these things so that you can get this customer. When, in all honesty, in my in my industry, a repair is definitely possible.
Well, the truth will set you free.
It sure
You
will.
be free
Sure will.
indeed. Wow. Y'all are, man, that was some good testimonies. Yeah, I know you were coming here to give your testimony tonight. Man, you might
Miss
pass the
Pat's
plate.
sitting over here just soaking it in, aren't you?
Man, that's incredible. And you had said something else, and now I got so caught up in that now I've lost it. But
Sorry.
something else you had said was so good. You said, God brings us through, different stages of things. I think we get caught up in thinking that, man, I wish I had the faith of Abraham when he went to sacrifice Isaac. I wish I had that kind of faith. And for some reason, we think that he jumped right to that. Like, just somehow he innately had the faith that God was going to save his son, when really it started with, hey, Abraham, pack your bags. Hey, Abraham, go here. Okay, Abraham, go here. And it was step by step by step by step. And throughout his whole entire life, his faith just got a little bit stronger and a little bit bigger, and he could step a little bit farther into that unknown, taking that next step without knowing the next 20. And for some reason, we think we should just jump right to those big steps, when really it's a journey. And
It's definitely a journey, and it's, to your point, right? Like, most of us are comfortable when we have a detailed, color-coded, organized plan, right? Being able to do something without knowing where it's going to necessarily lead or what step 2 even looks like. But being able to take step 1 is huge.
Yep.
Because your girl is a planner. I like knowing what the outcome is going to be before I take that first step.
Which is what makes you really good at your business.
Thank you. We'll go with that. But also, it's a test in faith, too,
It is.
because everything is going to change. Like, it's not a matter of when, but if, or rather, the other way around.
Right. Man, that is awesome. gosh, we could cut it right here and be done. Wow. I don't know how it gets any better
I
than.
say, see you next month, huh?
Golly, yeah, wow. Man, y'all got some cool story. Cool story, bro.
Thanks.
Cool story. Man, now I don't know where to go.
Could I throw a shout out out there?
Yeah.
Or
so-
just throw.
Oh no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, now is a wonderful time to start a business. If someone is in that mode, we have access to more technology and tools that are free and ways to connect with other people than we've ever had. And I think gifts are meant to be given, right? People have lots of things to share with the world that they could make money doing, but more so just bless other people with by having the courage to put it out there.
There's a book for that,
Wow.
right?
There is a book for that.
Oh,
I'm so glad you thought of that.
yeah.
Do you remember
What's-
the name?
I don't, but I can find out really quickly.
Oh, somebody should.
Let's
clue
go
me in.
to
I'm lost.
Katie Coleman's text message history here. Start here now.
That's a
That's
book.
the book.
That's
Okay.
the book.
A quick
Is
start
that,
guide to
is that book by Katie Coleman?
Oh, let's see.
ma'am.
Let's see.
Oh, how about that? Who'd have thunk it?
Wow.
And it's step by step. It is so clear. It's excellent.
That's
it's
awesome.
excellent. I've seen it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I wasn't even trying to plug the book necessarily. I just.
I think she led right into
High fives
it.
all around.
I
High
took the
fives all
bait.
around.
Yeah,
I
you
took
sure
the
did.
Well
bait.
played, my friend.
I think you were in on it.
I wasn't in on it, but
okay.
I sure took that bait.
Oh man, I feel like we should release Katie and tell her it's okay for her to dip out.
You want?
No, I don't
No.
want you to. Like,
Well, it's cool because Katie and I talked about the book earlier, and she did send me the link. That's why I have it. And she was humble enough to say, "You're past that. You don't need it."
oh wow, I think my favorite part about this is that Katie did not want to come sit in here and be on camera, and then she came in here and told this really incredible, powerful
Yep.
story.
Thank you.
Despite your reservations about coming in here and being on the camera, you came in here and you said a lot.
Well, thank you. I will say one of the number one things that I've had to pray every day about is visibility, and having the courage to be seen, because that's not I'm very good at being behind the scenes, and that's my preference, and that's where I like to live. And so you can't do that when you own your own business. So that's a struggle every day.
Yeah.
But that's another part of the whole faith journey. But
Oh man, I love it.
So this is your
Anyways.
first time on this podcast?
She hid in the corner one time for
Okay,
a few minutes.
okay.
yeah.
So that's what I did the first time.
Yeah, she hid in the corner. Yeah, you sat over
I
there. You
sat
hid
over
in that
here.
corner over there. And then Katie hid in this corner over here behind me for a few minutes.
You notice they make those corners disappear. They're not there
Yeah, they're
anymore.
gone
Yeah.
now.
Uh-huh.
So we did that so we can do fruit basket turnover and get some other people in here, except for Pat, because Pat comes from a long line of accreditations and letters behind her name and all kinds of things. And we want to ask the same question. How did you know it was time to go solo and do your own business?
Because in any organization that I tried to fit into, whether it was the educational system, I taught school for a while, or the hospital system to where I would go in and work with patients on a mind level around their illness, I was always told that I didn't play well with others. I have a real hard
I
time.
can't imagine
I
that.
know. Can you believe
That's
that?
crazy.
I don't intend to just go out and break rules, but a lot of the stuff I do just comes to me. Okay, I get the nod or I get the word, and I just do them.
Yeah.
And you really can't get by with that in big organizations like education and medicine. And so the only other thing to do was go out on my own.
Wow.
That
there
was
you go.
that's all there was to it. It was that or do nothing or be frustrated. And I don't do well being frustrated.
Fair enough.
So it was easy. And then what I love about what I get to do now is I get to support people and help people with things that most people don't think about. You know, it's all that inside out stuff is we don't even know it's there, but man, when it's brought to your attention, it makes a huge difference. And I
Absolutely.
can't do that in a traditional setting. I have to be on my own to do that.
Yeah. I can see that. That would ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, I've kind of been known a little bit as a disruptor.
Yeah, I believe that.
I could
believe
totally
that.
see that one.
But you know what? You have to disrupt things before you can bring change. Don't we have to till the ground before we can plant the seeds?
Absolutely.
So that's my justification for being a disruptor anyway.
I don't
And
think
there's
you
the
need a
quote,
justification.
right? Nice girls never made history, or rule followers never made
Oh,
history, or
maybe- I'm going to have to find that one for
one
sure.
of the. I think it's Eleanor Roosevelt.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
well-behaved women never make history.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it.
Well, I'm going to make history then. We got it. We got that.
You already
made.
have, Miss Pat.
And I think there's another. It's like women who wear black tend to leave colorful lives.
Interesting.
So what I want to do is give a shameless plug here, is that if you're really interested in getting and understanding your wiring and how it affects your business and how you can have your personal stuff affect your business in a positive way on purpose, okay, you do business from the inside out. And a week from yesterday, next Thursday, we're having a 3-hour workshop that are going to show people exactly how to do that, but it's going to go beyond showing. We're actually going to do some demos, and you're going to get to experience it.
So where can people find that? Where can people find that information?
Come to networking for awesome people.
There's that, and I have flyers here, but that's not going to help much. So,
All right, is it on Facebook? Do you have a website?
please feel free to email me,
Okay.
Pat Honiotis at gmail.com. PATHONIOTES at gmail.com.
Awesome. I was going to ask you to spell your last name for people like me.
I'm going to step out and babysit so that some other people can come in.
Well, we're going to do fruit basket turnover. So if you're watching live and you're wondering what is going on here, and you're hearing like background noise and things like that, we've got conversations going on in here live. We've got conversations going on outside. I think there's even people next door at Cedar Glade Brews coming in and out, and we just have a lot of stuff going on. So come join the conversation. If you can't make it here tonight, mark your calendar for the 4th Friday of April. We will be here. If you don't want to be on camera, we're not going to make you. There's awesome people right outside the store who don't want to be on camera, who aren't going to be on camera, but they're just coming to hang out and socialize and network and, spend time rubbing shoulders with other awesome people in business and who do, nonprofits and all kinds of different things. So, the only bad part about being in here, for me and Trent co-hosting this deal, is that we don't know what's going on outside the door, and we only get to be a part of one conversation. So, come and join us. And, now we got people that are fixing to trickle in here for another round. And we have Talon, who is like not having being away from his mama. He wants to come be on camera. Yeah, come say hi. Show off that shirt, my dude.
That's a Friday shirt every
That's
Friday.
a good looking shirt.
Yeah? Are
Can you
ready?
show everybody your shirt?
Can you show them your shirt?
So
Uncle Trav's right
handsome.
What's up,
You
dude?
don't get your own mic. You get to share with Mommy. Come here. So he is wearing his Minutes Wisely shirt every Friday.
Love
We
it.
have the long sleeve, the short sleeve, all of them. Can you hear me okay, Trent? Okay,
Minutes
good.
Wisely is one of our favorite nonprofits. They work
Yeah.
with veterans and first responders, and the logo was made by one of our favorite local entrepreneurs, Cameron Mason Kim. So all things marketing and branding.
I don't know where Fleekster is, but we're representing anyway.
Yeah.
You can go to Trav? Okay.
All right. So
Cameo babysit.
I'm super excited to ask you my question because
Oh, God, what's the question? I'm sorry, I've been
so
trying to...
Amanda's been involved in other conversations in the hallway that we don't know about. So Amanda comes from working for the school system.
Yep.
Previously, and the question is, how did you know when it was time to go out on your own and start your own business?
Can I walk out? No, it's time to come. Okay. How did I know? I kind of knew when there were no other options left. When I felt desperation, waking up, hating every day, just praying to God that today would be better than the next. And it was one of those moments where I had left the school system. I had worked independently with another person, and we had decided that it was time to part ways. And I prayed. I remember falling to my knees and crying, like, God, there's no other I don't know what else to do. And he gave me this peace that you have a gift and you're not using it. And it took a couple days. It took a lot of prayer. Trent and I've talked about this a lot. You and I have talked about this. It was one of those, when I called everybody that I loved and they said, there's nothing else you should be doing. And the peace came over me of this dream that I wrote on a Post-it 10 years ago. And I was like, now is the time. And it just was that peace that was like, there's nothing else I want to do. Do you want to continuously wake up every single day thinking about ways that, okay, if I can get to 8 o'clock, if I can get to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, get through lunch, then I go to the bathroom. The minute that you're planning out your day based on when you're getting out of there, it's time to go. So
It's time to get out of there.
it's time to get out. Yeah.
So
all
how-
the things.
How long have you been independent now?
Independent for a year and a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. It doesn't feel like it, but it's been a year and a month.
Wow.
Year and a month.
It doesn't seem like it's been that long either.
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Some ways it feels like I've been doing it my whole life, and other ways it seems like it's been absolutely just this short amount of time.
Wow. Oh, that's cool. So, what I know you are a big networker, and that's a whole big part of this. What are your favorite networking groups where you find the most camaraderie, the most encouragement, the places where people just encourage you and pour into you and make you feel like, yes, you can do this?
Here is one of my favorites. I think coming to this.
Nobody said here yet. How has that not been
I don't know
everybody's
how they
first
did
just
it,
'cause
but
they're
shouldn't that
sitting
be a
here?
given? It's written right there.
I mean, come on.
You and Trent, I mean, because y'all are like family. Y'all are home. So for me, the two people, I mean, you guys kind of known my journey. So I think for me, this is a place of home and a place of peace. And when I had this crazy idea, you two did not tell me no. It was stupid. You two were on board. So absolutely here. This is home. Cedar Glades home. So this place first and most. I've kind of been, I belong to 136 networking groups. So it is so hard.
What?
136.
Literally?
Literally 136. I would love to say that it
Please
was.
don't list them all.
I'm not listing them. Chamber of Commerce is probably one of my most favorite. I think the love and the work that they pour into our community, not just like big business, small business, all of that, but the people behind it. Our diplomat team is amazing, and I think the Chamber of Commerce is huge. And that was the first thing that I ever did when I got here, was the Chamber of Commerce. So I think that just the ribbon cuttings and the camaraderie that we get to go to business after hours, business before hours, and the way that they expose those businesses is number two.
There's a seat right here, Ronnie.
Yep, come on in. Don't you hide behind
I'm
that
asking
door.
you my question too.
You're gonna
Already-
babysit. You're gonna babysit if you sit out there.
Yeah,
The
right.
talent
You might
TV's
might
up.
as well come in
Safer
here.
in
The
here.
second TV, the original TV is over there. And then
That was not planned.
you didn't plan that.
No, I haven't worn these shoes in years, so I don't even know.
And the
Sure,
other
it
would
worked
be,
out.
Murfreesboro in Motion is something that I started, but it started the brainchild of me with a group of people that started from other networking groups. So we've all kind of come together to create that. And for me, that's just the group of individuals that came together that said, hey, we want something different. We want something that gives back because we give to charities. We wanted something different. So those top three are my top three, I think, that give back. And Murfreesboro in Motion is new. It's changing. It's something that I do that I think is going to be different. But that is a group of people that were in all kinds of networking groups. So that one is a mastermind. I like to call it a mastermind group because it's a group of, 10, 15 people that said, hey, we want something different for the county. And that's what we did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think I feel like a lot of people are wanting something different.
Yep.
When it comes to networking,
Yep.
I know there's a lot of groups that are, round robin, 1 minute kind of deals.
We're not that.
But I think there's a lot of people that are wanting to go deeper, who are wanting to build relationships.
Hey, bro.
And I know that was one of our goals for here, was to create an environment to build relationships, to learn more about people. Because the questions that we ask are very different from your typical
Yeah,
networking
absolutely.
groups. I know the last couple months we've been saying, okay, what are you most excited about?
Right.
Which I really love. But then my husband actually was like, hey, you should ask people how they knew when it was time to get started. How they knew it was time to push the red button or whatever.
Time to break out or whatever. Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's a good question, because that's a whole different part of your entrepreneurial journey that you don't necessarily get to tell.
And I think that's the important part too. Like, because others are going to feel that. There's others that may not work for themselves that are working for other people that are there that need to hear that tidbit. So that's shout out to Derek for that question, because that's awesome.
He's all right.
He's okay. We kind of like him.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
It's my kid.
Yeah,
I got a
fan. So I'm going to shameless plug. Trent and I recorded a podcast yesterday, and I'm going to be doing my own podcast. It's going to be coming out probably in a few months. There's some work to be done. I don't know. Trent's not shooting me any dirty looks on me saying a couple of months, so that I feel pretty good about that. It's going to be live to tell, and it's going to be the things that you thought would break you, but you live to tell the story. And and just as you've been talking, I think there's a lot of entrepreneurial live to tells that came out of the thing that was going to break you. Like,
yeah,
I think I think you could come on and you could tell the story about how miserable you were working 9 to 5 or whatever your hours were, and how that was just absolutely soul crushing, obviously, for you.
Yeah.
And what you're doing now and how you live to tell about it. So, shameless plug, I want to tell your story. So, spam me on social media. Get my attention. We need to schedule time.
I think that's
tell
important.
Your story.
I love that. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I am too. I am too. Everybody.
I'm like,
you get to be on my podcast. You get to be on my podcast. I want you to be on my podcast. Exactly.
It's the JB.
Yeah.
I love it.
Can ever get back in the studio, we'll be.
I think
we'll
that
be
is
doing good.
Well, I think that's the side that doesn't, like you said, that doesn't get told, and that's kind of why we created that group. Is like, we don't want to just be 60 seconds in and out.
Yeah.
We're about being in motion.
Yeah.
But we feature nonprofits. We talk about events. We talk about all the things that you don't get to talk about because you're so busy focused on that 60-second elevator
I
pitch.
do have a question though for you on the networking thing, because since we've owned a business, people are always approaching us, and I always feel like we haven't got like the best response or the best vibe. And with you being part of so many 136 networking groups,
136.
woo! That
crazy.
exhausted me saying that, by the way.
When do you see my face? Do you see my face?
Yeah.
It's a labor
you're
of love,
with,
though.
like small. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a mom of one.
Yeah.
Only one. Single
Yeah.
mom of a 2-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just I'm gonna be very clear. There's one child.
One.
Just
that's
one.
two.
He might sound
That's
like
why
a
you're
lot.
holding up 2 fingers.
Yeah.
No, he might sound like a lot, but there's a dog out there too. He's a feral.
There's a dog and a child.
He's a feral caveman.
But I mean, do you feel like you get a lot of good stuff out of?
I think it's what you put into it.
Okay.
I am intentional with my networking. I follow up. I'm hardcore with it. Everybody knows my schedule. On a Sunday morning, they get my schedule. They know where I'm at. They know what I'm doing. But I also am, like, going once is not going to feed your soul. It's not going to feed your business. People don't know who you are. They don't know to trust you.
Right.
It takes 7 times for somebody to remember your name.
Yeah.
It takes 12 times for them to want to give you business. So I think it's just kind of what you give. Now, is that saying that each one is worthwhile? No.
Yeah.
Some are worthwhile for some people and some are not. You need to know your business. You need to know your audience. Who do you want to refer? Who do you want to talk to? Who do you need to get in front of? So you know your business better than I do, right? I help 33 companies. I know those 33 companies. I know who to put in front of who.
Right.
And I know at some point if it's worth it or not. Now, for me, I have to go to all of them because I never, ever know.
Right.
But I just think it's intentional, being focused, and being where your feet are. If I am not present in that room when I'm networking, I am not good for anybody.
Yeah.
So when you're in that room, be in that room, give that moment. But when you leave that moment, take a piece with you, follow up, and do that. So I think that's where people fail in networking. Oh, I went and I didn't get anything from it. Well, why didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of on you.
Yeah.
But know your audience, too. If you're in a room full of, if you go speak at a senior center, and you don't, I mean, really, you really got to know what you're doing.
Right.
And I go to senior centers a lot.
Like, hey, if you guys need plumbing, and they're like, what? No.
But they live in assisted living. But you know what? They have children who have homes who need plumbers.
Right.
So it's what you say.
Right.
Being intentional, being a servant.
Right.
Come in with a servant heart.
Right.
You know what? They may not want you to pitch to them, but if I play a game of bingo with them, I'm going to get to know them.
Yeah.
So I'm learning what's important. So
Yeah.
I think just taking from that, and that's why I'm a professional networker.
Yeah.
I don't just network. I learn, I build relationships, I build community, and I learn what matters. And the more you do that, the better off you are.
Right.
And there he comes.
Yeah.
I think you said something significant in. You didn't say don't go to 136 networking groups.
I'm not going to say that.
But what you said was, basically know where it's going to be most effective for you. Because
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, most of your business is networking, but for those of us who have a business that is not networking, we can't possibly go to
You
that
can't.
many groups,
Right.
And
Nor should you.
work,
Yeah.
right? Nor should you, and work.
Right.
So
I mean, we're over here thinking like one day a month, and we're like, can we do it?
Do you know how many happen in 1 week? You can attend about 40.
That's a huge commitment.
Just in 1
Yeah,
week.
it is.
Yeah.
And shout
I
out.
mean, but that's your business. I mean, obviously, he's not good sitting at these networking events.
But you have to know your
5 days a
person
week,
too.
right.
Like, I know if I do all that, when I'm alone, do not call me.
Yeah.
Don't text me.
Right.
Yeah, she won't text you back.
Like, I'm not going to. No offense. My social battery is just that I've
That's how I
given
feel too,
so
yeah.
much that
And
you're
I don't
just,
even go to 100.
there's just not anything left to give.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, that's what you have
Well,
to know.
that's the
and those
balance,
that
and
love me
that's
know.
where-
I'm not
yeah.
ignoring you because I don't
Yeah.
love you. I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
Just don't want to talk
Yeah.
to you. Well, I think you made a really good point. So I'll say this for the people who are like you guys and who are just flowing and going all the time,
Yeah.
and can't stop in the middle of the day or the morning or
I don't even get half of the
making
half the
a,
time.
Exactly.
a 1 day
Yeah.
a month commitment is
Right.
hard. We're here once a month for Fourth
Right.
Friday.
Right.
But another really excellent once a month group is The Connection, which is the Borough Pulse. That's their event. Bracken
Yeah.
Borough hosts it. It's incredible. It's on the third Thursday of the month
Yep.
from, is it 5:30 to 7:30?
It-
5:30
5:30 to 7:30, yeah.
At Champy's, third Thursday.
okay.
Yep.
That's a really great one. It's very laid back.
I even
and
like
it's-
this, which is like it's
Whatever
so
it is,
casual.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Well, and
you
then,
don't know what you're walking
and we have
into.
Brew Business, which we
Yeah.
do on the first Thursday of the month, and we did that so that it doesn't conflict with this, it doesn't
Right.
conflict with that. So there are opportunities for people if you're just like, hey, look, I don't care about once a week. Like she said, it is so important. Those once a month, if that is your goal,
Right.
guess what? Once a month, that's
Yeah.
on my calendar. It's being intentional,
Right.
and that's what I speak about 136
Right.
times.
all the time. Well, so I've heard you tell why you started your own business in plumbing, but I'm going to ask you so everybody else can hear the reason. But also in a little bit different way. So, how did you know it was time to go out on your own and start your own plumbing business?
Well, kind of a long story, but I moved here. I don't like telling people this, but I moved here from Los Angeles. And
We don't judge.
I came here for family.
We
I came for
listen
family.
and we judge.
Yeah, I came
Quietly.
here one
Yeah, I was gonna
trip.
say later when you're not around.
So one trip I came here, and I had already been a plumber for about 20 years at this point, but I was always working for, I worked for the same company for 16 years. So I left there and went to another company, started saving money, finally came here to visit family. I've never been to Tennessee. And when I came here, I was like, I love this. I love it here. I felt like where Tennessee is where our hometown was 20 years ago.
Murfreesboro
And-
reminds us of Santa
and-
Clarita.
You know, California's such a rat race. And I was like, and I owned a business in California. Well, I worked for a company, but I started doing like side jobs and trying to build my name. But then when I moved here, I had no intention. I wanted to work for a company and go home. But then I realized that almost every plumbing company I went to, none of the plumbers knew what they were doing.
He
like,
started at Hiller.
I started
One-way
it at
company.
Hiller, and I ended up having to train the entire department. And then when I would hear like word and like just people talking, going, "Oh my God, you do plumbing? You show up when you say you're going to be here. You do a great job. You're fair." It got to a point where I told Janine, I'm like, I would be an idiot to not start my own company here. And so,
But he still was scared to.
yeah,
to
I
do
was,
it.
I was,
And I was like, dude, you've been doing this like your whole life. But I
it's
get
the
it.
fear of the unknown
Yeah.
for me. That's
Yeah.
really what it is. Because I knew
And so
that
much
I'd have to pay my own bills,
yeah.
but I didn't know what. I mean, being a business owner, if you would ask me 5 years ago, I would have told you a completely different thing that I would say now. And a lot of people, it's hard to say, but I guess like a lot of guys that when they're starting their new trade, they think that, I could just do the trade, whatever you're good at. And that's running a business, but that's only like 1% of it.
Or 10%.
So, or 10%, or, you know.
I mean, even if it's 50, if you can be a good, not even just plumber, you could be a good at whatever trade you are, but if you aren't answering calls and you're not returning them when you say you are,
I
or
tell
telling
people all the
somebody
time,
that you learned that too when you were at Hiller and Lee Company, is even something as small as that, like showing up and knowing what you're talking about and not needing help and getting jobs done, like
Oh yeah, my
blowing
revenue
everybody
numbers.
else out of
They
out
actually
of the
pulled me in the
water.
office and they were like, "Do you have any friends that you want to bring here from there?" Because in California, it's a cutthroat industry. Every other truck you see on the road is a plumbing truck. Every other truck is an AC truck. But you come here and it's quite the opposite. It's you couldn't. It was a lot different then. I mean, you'd open
Because
up.
now we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Every time somebody's like plumber, the post has been on there for like 8 minutes. And I'm like, okay, here I
142
come.
comments.
And I'm like, wait, why is there 52 comments already?
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
and
now, and we know some of them because he's worked with some of the other people and all that stuff.
and we
but
have
like,
friends that started their business
Yeah.
and they failed and they had to go back, and that's okay. Like I say that all the
it's
time.
not for everybody.
Being a business owner is not for everybody, but if I was to have it any other way, I would never go back.
Yeah.
So
But you
I
have to have
love
that
what I
balance
do,
be
and
able
I
to
love. I've
spread
learned a
all
lot.
that.
Let's put it that, and you will. I mean, it's
One of my favorite things about
It's
being a
very
business
demanding.
owner, and I do a lot of consulting, and I told someone yesterday, and I told Travis this before he started his own. You have to become comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yes.
It is going to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
It is going to suck.
Yeah.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah.
And become comfortable with the
and
uncomfortable.
learn from it.
And learn from it. And there's TD. Sorry, y'all.
He's good.
Normally he doesn't
Oh,
come,
it's
but
fine. We got the dog and the baby. Well, you're not really a baby. You're
he's a
like-
baby. He's a baby. Don't.
But it's not for everyone. But you're
Thanks,
never gonna know. Running a
Sorry.
business. Oh no, you're good. Running a business is not for everybody, but you're never gonna know unless you try.
Ooh,
Yeah.
man, say that
I was
again.
It is
Yeah.
not for
Wow.
everybody.
And it isn't for everybody, but like it also too, I tell him all the time, I'm like, listen, 1 minute he's like, the phone isn't ringing, and then a day later he's like,
Wait
"If
24
the
hours."
phone rings one more effing time. I'm like, I was like, pick a lane. You can't have it
Wow.
both ways.
There's a
You
verse
can't,
that-
like
It
it's,
depends
to
what
me, it's
hour in
far
the day I'm
worse.
on.
Right? It's far worse to not have the phone ringing. I was like, you've been doing this long enough now. I'm like the voice of reason. I'm like, that we have never
ebbs
in
and
all the
flows.
years that you've been plumbing, we've ever hit a rough patch where we couldn't, like, he freaks out.
I feel like it's been busy.
I think
He
that's
freaks
natural.
out
If he
about-
doesn't
yeah.
freak out, then you
Yeah.
should be worried. Like,
Yeah.
why are you so calm as a
Right.
business owner right now?
Yeah.
But not me, just a little bit triggered about picking a lane because so I'm a financial advisor, and one of the things that is in my tool bag is mortgages. And yesterday, Trent can attest to this. Yesterday, I was like, I hate everything mortgage. Yeah. I'm just frustrated. Like, I never want to do it again.
Yeah.
And then, today, totally different. Like today got something sorted out, talked to one of my, internal guys, at the home office and, smooth some things out and it's all good. But yesterday I was like, never again.
Yeah.
I'm going to get done with the ones that I
this-
haven't processed and
This
never
guy
again.
always
Oh,
is
yeah.
like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just gonna go back and work for a company. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, and he's like, I'm just gonna sell everything off. You know what? I'll sell.
I'll sell
Armor
my
Air
truck, I'll
wants
sell
to buy
that.
my company. I'll just let that. And I'm like, oh, okay.
And you're like, yeah, okay.
I'll talk to you
I
in
said
10.
it
Yeah.
depends
Like, I'm
on
gonna go
what
take a
hour
walk.
I'm
Yeah,
at.
when I come back,
but
you'll
he'll
be
call
changed
me,
your
and I'm just like, okay.
I had that
okay,
talk with
well,
God
we all
yesterday.
know you're not gonna do
Yeah.
that, but
I had that
okay.
talk with God yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm reminded, and I got sent a verse, and then God always comes through because I was like,
Yeah.
God, I'm just not good at this. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Everybody hates me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what is wrong with
Yeah.
me? Like it was
Yeah.
a bad 2 minutes
Yeah.
that I had with someone that's not a client. They don't. I mean, it was just
Yeah.
somebody that doesn't even.
Yeah.
Why?
And people,
But it
I was
sent me down-
People irritate you and,
You
and
know?
rub you the wrong way and all that, and I'm like, it's okay. Like, not everybody is for everybody.
Well, and I called my girlfriend back home. She's like, "Go ahead, close up right now. I'd
Yeah.
love to see that happen." She's
Yeah.
because that's what you're gonna do. You're
Yeah.
gonna. She's like, "You're gonna let
Yeah.
everybody down around you
Yeah.
and just."
I'm
And I
like-
was like, "Well, that was really heavy." She goes, "That's exactly what you just did to me." She's like, "You just told me was I'm shutting down my
Yeah.
business. I'm going back to
Yeah.
work. I'm moving home."
Yeah,
She's like,
okay.
"That wasn't heavy, but me telling you to go ahead and
Yeah,
do
go
it
and
was
do
the
it."
heavy part." She's
Yeah,
like, "I just
that's-
repeated it
yeah.
back."
Yeah, literally. I'm like,
So thank you
we
for
need
being
that. Want me
friend.
to,
We
so
all
what
need
should
that
I start
friend.
with? The work
So
van?
thank
Would
you.
do you want to sell the work van?
Yeah, go
or
ahead.
I'll just post it on Facebook
Call his bluff.
Marketplace.
Just call his bluff and be like, "I put the for sale sign on it."
So how
I
much?
tell her
How
to do
much
that
do you
all
want
the
me to
time.
sell
I'm
the
like, if you
the
would just, like, be
the
like, okay,
snake
cool, I would
for?
stop.
Right.
And he's be like, what?
See?
Wait, I didn't mean
But
it.
that's the
like,
Lord right
original-
there.
You know, I
Yeah.
don't mean like right now. And I'm
So,
like, okay.
so y'all run the business together, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he does most of it. He has a hard time letting go.
I am literally in the field working, answering phones, calling
won't let
people
go?
back, doing estimates, doing invoices,
I get
coming
to pay
home
bills
after
now.
work,
Are you kidding me? I
writing
get
more
to pay bills
estimates.
now, and it's not because I'm not
going-
like I am
paying all the
a
bills.
very organized
So,
person.
yeah,
Be its
I-
own show.
I really, I honestly cannot tell
Just open
you.
up Pandora's box.
I tell people all the time, I literally work 4 jobs every single
I
day.
do all of mine by myself, and the
Yeah.
only person I have is the one that's out there running
Yeah.
with the dog
and,
chasing the
and what's
ball.
crazy is I
hold
wouldn't
the
want it
rest of
any
it
other
down,
way.
but yeah.
Like I think I enjoy the chaotic
yeah, I was gonna say,
chaos.
I'll remind you of that the next time you're just like, I just gotta hire all these people and I gotta do this and then I'm just,
Just
gonna
text
fold
me. I'll be like,
yeah.
sell it. Just sell it. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like,
Sell it all.
Go
Everything's for
ahead.
sale.
It's fine.
I'm
It's
standing
fine.
in the fire. Everything's fine.
I will say that I can appreciate that the person showing up on camera to networking is the same person that shows up at your property to do the estimate.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, because you just had him.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I just had him come out, and so I think that's really cool because you know, maybe you shouldn't be the one that goes back to the office and writes the estimate and does the billing and the da 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 da. But being
Right.
Say that louder.
being
Well, I almost texted you today and said I'm
Oh,
gonna
you
hire a
texted I'm gonna
receptionist.
hire somebody.
We're gonna need a
Oh
bigger
yeah, I'm gonna hire
And
somebody to
my-
answer phones.
Wait. Hold on. Did you read my response? Hold on.
No, I don't even think I did, to be honest with you.
He said.
well,
I
that's
texted
okay
her.
because we're gonna get
Yeah.
it live.
He
Yeah.
goes, I think I need to hire someone to answer phones. It's too much. I said, yeah, but you aren't going to be able to let go of that task.
So this is like Days of Our Lives
Yeah,
business
it's
owners
literally
edition.
like,
It
I
is.
finally get to pay like the business bills and stuff, and it's not for any other reason other than he wants to be a control freak. Well, I'm also a control
It's
freak.
not that I want to be
and
a
I'm
control
very-
freak, though. I have things
You're
that
in business
like
for
the-
yourself because you're a control
The
freak.
reason I feel like I'm so successful is because I take the most absolute correct path down life, and so, but I feel like giving that up
really
to somebody
kids
else
out
isn't gonna do things the same way that I do, and it's gonna divert a different direction.
So John Maxwell says, if somebody can do something 80% as well as you do, then you need to let them do it because it gives you the freedom to do the things that truly only you can do.
Yes.
So paying the bills is something that somebody else can do, even if they only do it 80% as well. Even if
80% done
they,
instead of
Yeah,
done.
that's
even
true.
if they
Please,
do it
you asked
at
me if I pay bill, if
8
I paid you. I mean, you always ask me, did you pay the truck payment? I'm like, did I pay the
Oh no,
truck
yeah,
payment?
I gave her all the.
Did I pay
I
the cap
finally started
payment?
letting her
Did
pay
I
the bills.
pay the
We
cap
have,
payment?
But,
like,
but I mean, even
Yeah.
something like answering the phones,
Right.
like
Yeah.
they may not be you,
Right.
but if they can answer the phones and they can answer basic questions and field stuff like,
Right,
hey, what
right.
time was my guy supposed to be here today?
Yeah.
Oh, let me look at the schedule. He was supposed
Yeah.
to be there at 10 a.m. It's 9:55.
Yeah.
He's en route.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right,
Like
right,
that's
right.
not a phone call that you should have to answer.
Right.
That's true.
You know, that's something that somebody else can handle, and then they can, I mean, have a 24-hour callback policy. Like, you know, worst case scenario, somebody calls in at 5 p.m. and your phone person takes that message, then worst case scenario, they've gotten a personal phone call back from you,
Right.
or
right.
their
Or
problem
a
handled
representative,
somehow
Right.
by 5 p.m. the next day.
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
I mean, there's
And that
ways
was-
to implement
And
That's
that.
true, and I
was
never
it,
really
too,
thought about it
because
like that.
You knew that. That's what I was getting to earlier, was that you, even when you first started your business, or actually no, what you had done was you you were doing it on the side and you still worked for a company because nobody's going to go cold turkey.
My
You
business,
can't.
yeah.
And he learned quickly that he would tell people, I'll be there between this time and this time. And he actually showed up. He actually showed up on time. He actually fixed the problem,
That's the
fixed it
biggest
really
thing.
fast. And it became such a thing where it was like, oh my God, you actually showed up. And I was like, do people not show up out here? Like, I'm confused.
It's a big
Everybody
thing.
wants to make money, but nobody wants to work for it.
I have a business coach who
that's
told me years and years ago when I had this, I have a different business coach now, Pat Honey. This is fantastic, by the way. Just got to throw that out there. She's already here, but let's give her the love that she deserves because I think her holistic approach is just fantastic. But I had a business coach who told me years and years ago when I was running a company for somebody else, done is better than perfect. And because I was so focused on perfection, like I'm not the owner, right? And 80%, I did all the Maxwell's thing, like, and so he let me have it. And I was like, but I'm not going to do it perfect. But at some point, if I do nothing, nothing is done. If I'm waiting on perfection, it's not going to get done.
Yeah.
So done is better than perfect.
Right.
And I was like, oh, and that stays true to me today. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
But it's done.
Yeah.
Like and some things need to be perfect.
Yeah.
Other things,
Oh,
it's
I'm
okay.
a perfectionist. All the
I
way
am
down the
too.
line.
But
Oh yeah.
but you have to
So I
kind of
don't
let.
that's why too. I'm like, I don't understand. Like I am so like I've been telling him I should be doing the estimates and all that
Well,
because then
see-
I can keep track. When he's over here last year, remember all these checks that weren't getting deposited because we didn't know that the bank was only
so
allowing
careless that there was checks
many-
for thousands of dollars just never deposited.
Okay, that needs to be done.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
we
Perfectly.
corrected that now.
I mean,
but-
Oh yeah,
Some
and I'm
things
over
are-
here.
Again, though,
I'm
it was
over
the
here, but I'm
learning
having to
curve.
go
It was-
back and look at things that I never really had a whole lot of. Not that I didn't have access to, but I just never looked at it because he did it all. And he's like, I need you to help me find all these checks. And I'm like going through and I'm going through and shutting down tomorrow.
I'm selling everything.
Yeah, I'm selling
put a
everything.
yard on the
I need
table.
to find this money.
But those are the
it's like
learning
this
curves
whole
that you're
thing,
gonna
yeah.
go
And those are
through.
the hiccups. And that's the things I
And
don't
I'm
think
like,
people
let me
talk
do
about
it. Just
enough
let
is
me
the
do it.
the bumps and
weekly
bruises.
system where you come home and you're like, hey, this is, and eventually I'll get the verbiage and all I
Yeah.
hear it all the time because you just talk to Tex when he's doing his estimates. And he's like, plumber came out, installed a pipe.
bless it. Talk to text.
Yeah.
Does your talk to text understand you better than it
Half
understands
the
me? Because
time.
it
Does
does
your
not
collard
understand
greens and
so much.
cornbread, my
Oh,
love?
he
You are
talks
collard
robot.
greens and corn. Is that what I texted them?
Yes.
Yeah,
Collard
if you
greens
talk
and
robotic, it understands you.
No,
but if you're just talking
I don't know.
normal,
My girl.
yeah.
My girl, I love her dearly. Y'all know I love Jessica. I moved to Tennessee. She's one of the first friends that I made. She is my collard greens and cornbread friend because just one of my people listen.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm like, she's just Southern.
Yeah.
She's just look at him. My son is gonna have a Southern accent, and I'm not gonna know what to do with it.
What are you doing? You coming in? What? What
Are you ready for me? You come here. Do you want to come in for a second? Thank you, Travis.
So y'all, bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much for taking care of them.
So you get to pay the bills. Do you have another business that you run too?
I'm an esthetician, and so I have my esthetician license.
That's right.
I do two gems and teeth white. I do not advertise any of it because I kind of just I got my license out here when I moved out here because I worked so hard for it in California, and California, it's damn near impossible to get things out there. So I was like, I'm never letting this go. I will pay
Yeah, it's very
the
difficult to get
$50
licensed out
every
there.
couple years
It's
for
okay.
for
Excuse me.
the rest of time. And then if our podcast, if we ever get back to it, everybody, we've all just been
that's right.
a mess. Somebody at
It's
some
been
point
so chaotic
Yeah, I know.
lately, and yeah, it's
But
crazy.
hopefully with that, because we have a lot. I have a ton to work on with that.
Well,
A
and
ton.
with all this work coming up too, none to mention that in 2 weeks we're going on vacation
Oh, yeah,
from
we're going to
Wednesday
Punta
to Sunday,
Cana.
and I'm like, how
My
how
son
am I
is
supposed
turning
to leave?
21.
Like my guys aren't gonna be. They're gonna be like,
Well,
what's
my
going on?
we're going with my ex-husband and
That's
his
why
wife.
you need somebody that does it 80% as well as you do.
Yeah.
That can
And
manage
you-
the
Well,
guys
I
while
do.
you're gone.
You have
Yeah,
that
I do.
engaged.
I'm
have
gonna
that.
listen to
Yeah,
that
I do
I'm
have
like,
that
I need a
engaged.
vacation.
I
And
can't
my mom
honestly say.
is staying with us right now, so she helps with the dogs. And if there's something where it's like Gabe needs something,
Yeah. It's still I'm letting go by going on
But
vacation. if that makes sense,
my
because
son-
that's how I feel. I'm
my
like,
son
this
is
is going to be
turning
very
21.
difficult.
This is a really big deal, obviously, and we're going with my ex-husband and his wife. So the 5 of us, we're going to an all-inclusive, but we all get along. But my ex-husband is also a business owner. He's a general contractor.
So at some point, you know you guys are going to have conversation. I'm just.
Oh, we get along good. Yeah.
I mean, about business.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
about
we do.
At some
no,
point during the trip,
we
they're
have-
going to
yeah.
have a few drinks and they're both going to be ready to sell
Yeah.
everything
Oh,
when
yes.
they come
Yes.
back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Everything's going to be like on the way home. They're going to be like, sell the vans. We're done.
I
Like,
started a group chat. I sent the countdown,
There you go.
and then my ex sends this, and then last night he says, "Fuck, this vacation couldn't be coming at a better time." And I didn't know. I was like, "Why?" I mean, I can't not agree, but like, why? And he goes, "I need a break."
So
and I was like,
just
"Yeah."
wait.
So all,
There's going to be at
every
some point
one
they're
of
going to be
us-
sitting
yeah.
having beers together, and they're going to sell each other's businesses. Probably to
Oh,
each
we
other.
are. We may go
sell-
into business
no,
together.
They're going to
He's
sell,
my new
they're gonna
business
sell
partner.
their businesses to the Cabana Boys on the
Or
fucking
they're going to be like,
beach.
you know what? We could
They're
both
gonna be
move
like-
here and start a business here. Because
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, there's
I
never
have
been a time
friends.
on vacation where I haven't been in Cabo
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
in the Bahamas. Like, you know what? We should really just open a shop down here, just kind of
Yeah.
selling what?
Yeah.
Like, what are we
We'll
going to
just-
do? I don't know. We're going to be
Yeah, we'll
bartenders
just-
in the
we'll
Bahamas.
just open a
Like,
little
Sell
food shop or
seashells
something.
on the seashore.
on the seashore.
There you go.
It's going to be a conversation.
Yeah.
Probably more than once.
Yeah.
You're going to
fine.
get mad on the way home and be like, hey, we're just selling all of it. We're done.
Yeah,
Like,
we're done.
And
It's
then when you
fine.
get home, you're
Sell
like,
the kids, sell the house.
and then it's going to happen
sell-
again 2 weeks later when you get home because the work is overwhelming. Be like, I should have just sold.
Yeah.
I think you should have a rule when you go down there that maybe like the person who brings up business has to put money in a jar or something.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
You know,
Every
talking
time you just kind of
business.
Yeah.
Well, and I
like a
keep
swear
telling
jar, only a
him-
business
yeah.
work jar. It's a work jar.
And
And
it's
then
crazy.
the wives get to take the money and split it when you get back home and
Yeah.
do something fun.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
this.
keep
This is a whole
talking.
new thing.
Yeah, talk business all you want.
Just keep feeding them tequila or where are you
Yeah.
going?
Punta Cana,
See, Mexico. I knew it was Mexico.
Dominican Republic,
Dominican.
Caribbean. Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
Punta Cana. I was
We've
thinking
never
close
been.
to my-
This is a first for actually all of us.
I have a friend that's
so-
leaving tomorrow to go to Dominican Republic.
We won't be going with Daniel and Jessica, unfortunately.
Are you
so we
going
don't
with
have to
Michael?
worry
Are
about-
you going with Michael
We
and
don't
them
have to
too?
worry about Daniel not making it back.
We don't
Are
have
you
to worry
going with
about
like-
somebody getting detained?
You know what I'm worried about? Half of Rutherford County is traveling to Dominican Republic and the Bahamas in the next 5 days.
Really? Okay,
Everyone
well-
I've talked to.
Oh, because this kids' spring
break,
is next
yeah.
week. Yeah, not us. We're
except
going the
Daniel.
following week.
Except Daniel.
Hopefully, Daniel.
As a
spends
Floridian,
spring
thank
break
you for
in
giving
prison.
Florida a break.
What's happening with that?
Oh,
wait!
man.
Oh, he's out trying to
T.
thrust his package and hopes for.
Oh, he's fishing for sure.
He's hoping for that.
Oh my goodness.
That Venmo.
Don't buy a
Well,
timeshare, whoever you are.
How about a $30,000 request from somebody?
Yeah.
You POS. Pay me back, you POS.
Your $30,000.
$30,000.
$30,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, it takes a brave man. Like, I'm at the point right now where when Jessica was sending all that stuff, I was like, all I saw was like 7 of Daniel, and I was like,
So shameless plug, Caught in the Con, right? That's
Caught in the
it's
Con.
going to be coming out soon.
yeah,
Or-
we
Travis,
need
thank
to
you.
soonish. Yes, we.
Okay, I gotta get
I mean,
out
we
of here.
have her. Well, the Deborah stuff we can't really put out until she is done, and we have a lot of victims that still.
Oh,
want
there's
to
still a lot of
come
victims
out.
coming
Excellent.
forward.
Now we're talking
Crazy.
about picketing
Oh my
There's all
goodness.
kinds of
in
stuff.
front of his house.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
don't think I support that.
I know
I
we're
can't get
nearing
behind that,
7
yeah.
o'clock, and so
Yeah.
it's probably time to like cut the live feed. But all the more reason to be here in person because now the conversation is going to continue. But just some shameless plugs. One, as always, the host with the most, Trent Denson with Spread the Positive.
Yes.
Check out the Spread the Positive Network.
Spread
we
the
haven't
light
even
on
had
what's
that
going
sound
right.
one time tonight.
Listen.
Oh my
I just
goodness!
tried to
We
get
haven't
goodness.
had anything
Yeah.
pew
Pew,
pew
pew,
worthy.
pew,
No pew pews?
But there's
I don't
so
have a mic right now.
oh, there are so many incredible
Talon's
podcasts
got you.
on Spread the Positive Network right now, and so many more coming.
Yes.
Mine, Live to Tell, Caught in the Con. I mean, so many. The 1200 Club, everybody on the 1200 Club is just incredible. I've listened to some of those, and they're awesome. One just came out with Ryan Kennedy, I think, yesterday. So, really great local business owner. So, hey, if you're a local business owner and you do business the right way, check out the 1200 Club. That is a great way to get your name and your face and your story out there for the community to hear.
And it's only $100 a month.
Yep, it's $100 a month. So incredible investment in your business. Definitely do that. Check that out, and be here. Fourth Friday of every month. Like we've said several times, there's conversations going on in here. There's conversations going on out there over at Cedar Glade Brews. Obviously, Cedar Glade Brews will let you bring your glass over here as long as you take it back.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Take it back.
Trent
Oh,
says
and
you
empanada.
better take it back.
I did.
Don't
already
leave it
took
in
my
here.
first one.
And then
I'll take
there's
those. Yeah.
food trucks out here every Friday
The
night.
empanadas
So
were amazing.
it's empanadas tonight?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
snap.
good.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
We gotta
We're gonna go get
cut
those empanadas
this.
now. We're going
Jessica's got to go. You just said my love language. Be here fourth Friday. Check out everything on Spread the Positive. Thank you for everybody that was here in the room, out of the room, next door, all over the place. This is the most fun place to be on a fourth Friday. You will build relationships. You will get to know people.
Tyler was doing it on his way out. TD was like, pew, pew, pew,
Stay
pew.
tuned and come back. Yeah, we'll see you next time. I think that's it.
Awesome.
We get everything?